The Baltimore Ravens signed Odell Beckham Jr.
Woo!
Should have been a Jet.
And I mean, listen, I thought he was going to be a New York Jet, but I can't be mad because $13 million signing bonus, 1 year, $18 million deal. That's way too much for OBJ, in my opinion, right now.
What do you mean?
That's a
what do you
big
mean?
time risk. That's a big
Respect
time
the
risk.
GOAT. Can you
And-
respect the GOAT, please?
Odell called the Jets and Joe Douglas and said, listen, you want to match this offer? And they told him respectfully no, and he signed with the Ravens. The good thing about this deal, I think it's clear. Odell Beckham Jr. to the Ravens means Lamar Jackson is staying in Baltimore. It's
I
as
agree
simple as that.
wholeheartedly.
And I think about this Ravens offense. The offensive line is good. J.K. Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, Odell, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, with Todd
Okay.
Monken as the offensive coordinator. This offense is going to be an air raid offense. It's not going to be the Ravens offenses of old with Greg Roman, where it's going to be heavy sets, 12 personnel. It's not going to be that way. This is going to be a spread out offense. And I'm so excited because this is the first time Lamar Jackson is going to be able to showcase his arm. And I'm tired of these running back comments that still get labeled and thrown onto Lamar Jackson like he
This is
hasn't
rich.
proven himself as a passer.
Joel.
I never
what the
called-
fuck are we doing?
I never called Lamar
What are we
Jackson a
doing,
running back.
Joel?
I never called Lamar Jackson a running
You
back.
never called him a running back, but you damn near called him everything else in the book.
No arm
No, I
Lamar
didn't.
started from
No
you.
arm Lamar.
No arm Lamar. You're so serious.
Come on,
You're
Lamar.
so
Started from you.
Listen,
Come
in the
on,
playoffs, he chokes.
Lamar.
He chokes in the playoffs.
Joel, you
But I
can't
never
be
called him.
serious
I
with
never
this.
called him a running back. I never called him a running back. And you'd be lying if you said I did. Now listen, it's the bottom line. The Ravens now have a
Come
talented
on,
roster.
Lamar.
Odell Beckham Jr. as the second option as a receiver in the offense could be potentially electric if he can stay healthy. I would still like the Ravens to draft a receiver. I want them to. I think Zay Flowers would be the ideal place for him. Zay Flowers would be an ideal fit in this offense, but Todd Monken as the OC. I mean, this guy was airing it out with Jameis Winston. With Lamar Jackson, this is the first year where I think people are going to start changing their perception about Lamar Jackson as a passer because Todd Monken is going to unlock him in that way.
You're sick me. You really do.
Hey,
Mr.
come on,
Flip
Lamar.
aside, in the flesh.
Come on, Lamar still stands.
Um,
You picked them to beat the Bengals in the division. They didn't.
Yeah, they were in first place before he got hurt.
So come on, Lamar, stay healthy. What's up?
The Odell contract is interesting. $15 million guaranteed. And that's what everyone's going to look at. But I think you have to look at it a different way because Odell's not worth the same to every team. That's obvious. If he went to the Jets, he's probably wide receiver 2, maybe wide receiver 3, depending on, his health and whatnot. But
Wide
for
receiver
the Baltimore
3?
Ravens, he could potentially be their wide receiver 1. He's probably wide receiver 2, but, for the Ravens, he's their wide receiver 1. And that's why they feel comfortable paying up to $18 million for him. This happens all the time in our fantasy football leagues where my fourth running back would be your best running back. So you offer me some bullshit offer because he's your fourth running back. Who cares? But in reality, it's all about what that player, how you value that player. And for the Ravens, they
An
desperately
analogy.
needed an explosive wide receiver, someone that could beat one-on-one coverage, someone who could find the openings in zone because John's not here. I know how much he loves fucking Devin Duvernay. He's not going to be a guy to be able to take this
Where the hell did he
offense
go?
to the top.
He left.
Who
He had to
knows?
go somewhere.
But with Odell,
I thought he
he's
was
an
taking a
explosive
shit.
playmaker. I understand the 2 ACL tears. There's some concern there. But at the end of the day, it's a 1-year contract. So there's no long-term, commitment to Odell. It's 1 year. If he sucks, it's not like it's going to be a cap casualty or a dead cap hit next season. He's going to be off your books. And if this helps you get Lamar Jackson, if this is the last thing needed to get over the finish line and get him to sign that contract finally, you do it. You get Odell, you overpay him for maybe $5 or $6 million more than you want to spend, but you're able to get an explosive wide receiver in this pass-heavy offense you want to run. I don't have a big problem with it.
It's also important to note that with the Jets, it's not like our wide receiver 2 was Alan Lazard. I think Corey Davis is a very capable number 2. And
He probably
with
stays on the
Garrett,
team now.
yeah, he is. He's going to definitely. Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Lazard, McCole, that's a good receiving core.
And it's important to note too that
It's getting
during
carried. It's getting carried.
They can still add another receiver.
Corey
in the
Davis
draft or
with Tennessee was close to a 1,000-yard receiver. If he stays healthy,
Listen,
he's a good receiver.
if Garrett's the guy
This
we
is
think
also
he is,
given-
and he could be a top 10 receiver, Corey Davis and Hardman and Lazard, I think you're fine with the complementary pieces. But I think it's also important to note that during like the rumors last year last week when Odell was set to take a visit, part of that conversation was the physical, the money, but it was also how is Odell going to fit in this offense? How is he going to fit in the Aaron Rodgers-led offense? How is he going to fit as the clear wide receiver 2? Maybe on some games, some weeks, you're going to be the wide receiver 3. I think there was maybe not concern, but there had to be some sort of clarity there between the Jets and Odell. You go the Ravens, you're the wide receiver 1, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Joel, that's an excellent point made about how every team's need it varies, of course. So you may need to spend a little bit of extra money to go and maybe sign someone you may not be so overly inclined. Other teams may not be overly inclined to give the same amount of money. Like Edmonds with the Bears. Some thought that was an overpay. Mike McGlinchey, same thing. People thought that it's an overpay. But how I look at it is you have a need. You have a strong hole in your squad that you need to answer. And the biggest hole for the Ravens, ever since Lamar Jackson had been brought in to be your quarterback, was the wide receiver position. Even when they had Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews, that still was not enough. Hollywood Brown, I think the world of him. I think he's an excellent wide receiver, regardless of that fact. Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews was not enough because Hollywood Brown is not that X-type receiver, especially for a guy like Lamar Jackson who needs more of a technician, needs more someone to get open and create a little bit of space. I think Rashad Bateman has the potential to do so, but at this point, I'm starting to lose that faith as well. But now you bring in Odell, who's a great route runner in his own right, Yes, we're a year removed of seeing Odell last, so we're going to need to see how fast he looks. Does he still hold that same speed that we saw last? But why I'm still high on this move, because last we saw Odell, he was amazing. On the Rams, he was fantastic. Him and Stafford had an immediate connection, and in the playoffs, yes, Cooper Kupp was the best receiver by far, but you couldn't name a better complementary piece in that playoff run than Odell. Odell was en route to be Super Bowl MVP potentially. He had an amazing first quarter. I'm blanking off the top of my head whether it was the first quarter or the first half, but he was amazing, and he goes down with the knee injury. You see the momentum completely go to Cincinnati. Odell Beckham still has something to prove, no doubt about it. I think at least at the minimum, last we saw Odell, he kind of answered some naysayers there. But now you're with Lamar Jackson, who has doubters himself to prove. And now you're coming back a year removed. People are still going to question the contract now, whether you're worth $18 million or not. I think that with the Baltimore Ravens, it was essential you make Lamar Jackson happy. And in doing so, you bring in not only a big name, but someone that could come in and contribute. And like Joe said, potentially be your wide receiver 1. And now this also opens up the field for Mark Andrews, who this season struggled as the only true option on the Baltimore Ravens, where last year, of course, you still had to account for Hollywood Brown. And then towards the end of the season, Rashad Bateman, who ended up being pretty productive for his rookie season. And Mark Andrews was able to not see as strong coverage, where now this season hopefully Rashad Bateman will stay healthy. You do have Odell Beckham on the outside, can play the inside as well. Now this will open up the field for Mark Andrews. So really the big reason why this is a great move is because now Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, is going to remain a Baltimore Raven. And that is the bigger story than anything. Yes, you may have had to overpay for Odell Beckham Jr., but at the minimum, you keep your franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, this move definitely gives you the good feeling in your stomach, the warm feeling Dehls likes to say that Lamar is staying with Baltimore. I think the money it's a 1-year deal, so it's not like this. Run it off, it's a short deal. But I think what's interesting to me is what Dehls said. 2 years. 2 years. Oh, that was cute. This is the nice little 3-way.
Right? I fucked with that. Yo, Joel, go back before you leave.
We might have to go back. I think it's interesting that 2 years removed from an injury, the Super Bowl, he missed the whole year. That's huge. He's coming in. He's going to be a number 1. We haven't seen Odell be a number 1 in a really long time, so that's a big thing. The AFC is loaded. We always forget to say that, but we have to mention that every time we talk about an AFC team. The AFC is stacked. It is loaded. But this, like we said, you got a nice new background, Joel. What's going on?
I just turned on the light.
Bro, it's moving around.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, I was fucking with the other camera.
Yeah, the 3-way.
What
That
camera?
little 3-box shit?
The little
The
3
1,
box?
2, 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore, bro.
But are you guys not like, I don't know, like Odell is a number one. Are you not worried about the injury and him slowing down and still
It's
not
not
having
ideal
that
number one.
Like
It's not
ideal number
I need
one,
to see
but
it.
it's better than
I need to
last
see
year.
how he looks back week
that's
1.
a concern.
I need to see how
I
he
agreed
looks
with Joel though.
elucidly.
Like drafting a receiver still has to be a number one priority. Like you still have to
I
bring
agree.
in more help, especially because Odell hasn't played. Like we've seen Deshaun after not playing football in a year. This is Odell not playing in a year and coming off an injury. So this is like, and he's a quarterback. This is a receiver that relies on his agility, his burst, his speed, and he's a little bit older. So this is like the optimism is there, but still, this could backfire in a sense.